All right. So, welcome everyone to the Lib podcast, where it's dedicated to helping people to get inspired to change careers and become software developers. Today, we have a special guest with us, Gabriel, who is a successful software developer in my eyes, and he will be sharing his story and hopefully offering valuable advice for those looking to transition to the tech field. So, if you've been considering a career change, and are interested in becoming a software developer, this is the episode for you. So join us as we discuss the challenges, tools, and resources that Gabriel have used to become successful in this exciting and rewarding field. So thank you so much, Gabriel, for joining in this podcast or interview
Yeah,
or
no
live
problem.
stream.
Hey, sup.
All right. So basically, I guess a lot of people right now, let's talk about, the elephant in the room right now, tech layoffs, right? So right now there is a lot of news, people getting fired from tech companies like Indeed or Accenture, and the famous one, right, is all the big tech companies, right? Google, Facebook, all of that. So do you think that right now in this current, time, is it a good time to be a software developer?
Um, I would think that compared to other times lah, in terms of if you are talking about competition for jobs, yeah, because there are a lot of layoffs, so there will be a lot of other um, engineers that will be competing for other jobs lah. I mean, everyone's looking for jobs, so yeah, there will be more competition, especially in a large number of layoffs. But yeah, and job opportunities if you are looking for the bigger companies. I mean, like what you guys mentioned, Accenture, what Indeed, and previously even Facebook, yeah, and so on and so forth, like Google or yeah, they might have freeze hiring. I'm not too sure in the specifics. So yeah, may not be the best time, but if you are skilled, there are still a lot of like smaller startups still hiring with aggressively hiring actually. So yeah, jobs are still there lah. If that's the question, but obviously it is not the best time. Yeah.
Right. So I do agree that right now, compared to the many years that we have in tech, right, it will not be the best time. But at the same time, there is still opportunities in, like you said, right, in startups. And I also would add on like small businesses, right? Because right now, previously, all of everyone want to join all of the big tech companies kind of thing, or all the known tech companies. But now I think there is more talent in the market. So now, startups and small businesses have access to these talents, and maybe people can finally, like, have a chance to work in a small business and see what's the difference kind of thing, right? So maybe you can talk about yourself, right? Like, before all of this, what inspired you to become a software developer?
Um. Okay, so I was considering a lot of across all the disciplines. Or rather, to me personally, I'm interested in a lot of things. I think everything is sort of related. But what I want to learn first is the question. So why I decided to take on software development or in tech is because in terms of creating things, in terms of making a difference, it is the discipline that takes the least amount of resources. I mean, all I need is actually a computer and I can start building things. If you are going into mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, or even what medicine, pharmaceuticals, other fields in STEM lah. To build things, you actually need quite a lot of resources. But in tech, really, you just need a computer, internet access. Internet access also maybe don't need. Depends what you're building. So computer, and that's why I started off with tech. But still, I'm looking to venture. I'm also here and there looking into other different sectors. I mean, we all know lah, tech is applied in everywhere. You talk about medicine, pharmaceuticals, um, every form of engineering out there, every form of science out there. Tech is applicable. So it's I am looking out and I am continuously learning. Mm.
Right. So I like what you said about, if you want to learn, tech, most of the time you just need a laptop. And I definitely think you need internet access, because if you want to, resolve a bug, you probably want to watch some YouTube, or you want to learn on your own, you probably want to watch some YouTube video or some video courses, right? And also, you mentioned that in any industry, tech is, there is a need, right? Like you say, there is a need for tech in, engineering or even in science. I guess there's more a bit more niche in terms of like, because they are more towards, I mean, depends. Science is a huge umbrella. STEM, for those who don't know what STEM is science, tech, engineering, and math, right? If I'm wrong, right? But outside that, right, if you're not like very into these kind of like subjects, I guess other industries like, healthcare, in, maybe another industry, finance, right? They require tech as well, right? So when you were learning tech, right, Gabriel, what was like some challenges that you faced when you had your hands on with tech?
Challenges are when I was learning. Um, Not too sure about challenges lah, but one of the challenge that most people has will face is actually to be able to learn themselves. So yeah, as much as yeah, schools will give you um, materials to learn, you might have gone through courses whatsoever. But one very important skill to have if you are in this tech industry is to be able to, like, sometimes you have a problem, and then the problem you can search the whole world, you can ask um, your seniors whatsoever or your profs whatsoever, but there could be issues that no one has faced before and you're the first guy, or like could be a very silly issue that no one else has faced because it's a silly issue, or it could be a big problem that no one else has faced, like very specific. But yeah, it's really up to you to actually learn yourself, look up resources whatsoever, and try to resolve the problem lah, because some of these bugs or whatsoever issues that you're facing, um, yeah, might be something that I mean, it will be something that stops you from getting to what you're building or your goal is. Yeah, so learning to learn, or being able to learn by your own, is something that a lot of people are challenged by. And I mean, for me, okay lah, I would think of myself as quite an independent learner. I mean, last time I also school also sleeping on so train myself really. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do agree that in tech, right, you have to be an independent learner, especially like you said, when you have faced a problem that no one has faced, whether your friends can't solve it or your colleagues cannot solve it, then it's really up to you, right, to really overcome that bug or that issue yourself, and that is based on being a self learner itself, right? And I would say an independent learner. So, do you think, other than being an independent learner, is there other things that you feel that will help you learn tech better?
mm, Interest.
Mm.
So yeah, um I would think that, especially in terms of, okay, so one thing about when I mean interest is, first you need to have the interest of building things. All right, so like especially generally lah, building, whether is it a small project, whether is it code, whether is it a hardware kind of thing. Um, it is hit and miss lah, whether you enjoy the building process and the feeling you get after it works, right? If and this interest will be really challenged, especially when you are studying or trying to build something and it keep giving you problems lah, and like you'll be always challenged lah. So um, whether is it when you're working on a project, whether you are studying certain topics in terms of academics, yeah, trying to figure out what certain, I don't know, neural networks or some rather deeper field of study. So it can get quite complicated and it will challenge you. But ultimately, for most engineers, we get a satisfaction of that satisfaction after when we build something and it works to what we think it works, and feels like magic. It's like we went through a lot of complication and it works. That kind of satisfaction, that is what drives a lot of us. And if you don't have this satisfaction and you don't like to code, you're not interested in it, right? Learning it is actually very very dry, and I believe very difficult. If you're just doing it for, I don't know, some kind of monetary incentive. That's will be tough lah. Yeah, will be very difficult. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess what you're trying to say is that learning tech and building things is already very, very hard. So the only way that you can motivate yourself is actually interest, or I would call it passion, right? So like these are the things that can hold you to the journey of like learning, because tech itself, there's so many things out there. And then like when you want to resolve, because when you want to build something, there's a lot of issues that you have to go through, and the only thing that will push through is like, I mean, number one is obviously being an independent learner, and number two is, I think, is also like passion, right? So for you, your passion, right? Right now, I don't know if your passion is in blockchain, but why did you initially want to be a blockchain developer?
Okay, so I'm not exactly a blockchain developer
Yeah,
lah. Like,
but
yeah,
engineer
my
in
role
a
is,
blockchain company. Yeah.
yeah, correct, engineer in a blockchain company. So I mean, I could have been I mean, okay, but I'm also not exactly fully a developer. I do development work nowadays as well, but I'm actually more of a DevOps role. So um, I mean, in school, I want to learn something different, and there is some other things that I want to be exposed to. I mean, your first company, if you just join something really just the same thing what you do in school, then I think very boring. Eh. So what I want to do is I took on this role. First is that um, yeah, I'm doing something that I haven't really touched in school in terms of like development is one thing, but if in terms of technical terms, managing operations is another thing in terms of your infrastructure or something. These kind of things school cannot teach you because they don't have a production environment for you to work on lah, or simulate issues or how to manage the whole production environment, because schools cannot provide you a real production environment. So something that I wanted to learn. That's why I was looking at DevOps roles. And why this blockchain company is because a crypto company lah. It's because um, coming from a tech background, I don't have any knowledge about finances, in the finance sector, in the banking sector, in the crypto sector. So interestingly, like actually crypto is like it's like a bridge. It's like a intersection between the finance, banking, as well as the tech sector. So by going to crypto, it allows me to learn a lot of new things that is related to finance, related to banking, or even like trading kind of thing. So yeah, 2 years ish in, yeah, I actually have picked up a lot of these kind of things outside of tech, and it's really useful for me lah. It has been
Mm.
useful for me.
Nice.
Mm.
So the main reason is that you really wanted to try something on your own, and then yeah, the crypto space, I guess back then was the hot thing, and a lot of people were very new to it. So I guess the level of entry is not that high in a sense. So for those who are interested to be in the blockchain industry, what do you think should they pick up on if they are really interested to be inside this blockchain industry?
Okay, so one thing about blockchain industry is that, or this crypto industry is that it's very fast paced. So, um, they will only hire the best lah. And there are most of the companies that I know of are very picky in the way they hire. So where from small startup, you'll be surprised how much they are willing to pay if they are small startups. Yeah, I know quite high lah. And yeah, but they expect a lot, and it's very volatile. Like if they realize you're not good enough, then there we go kind of thing. It's a very harsh environment. But yeah, if you want to join this crypto space, first is, yeah, you have to be good like in terms of whatever you want to do. Um, if you want to do your front end, back end, all this, you have to show something that you differ from the rest and you're better lah, or operations whatsoever. And you have to show that you are willing to learn a lot. And also depending on which companies there are and the culture, a lot of these are also very time consuming, like 996 kind of thing. Yeah, like 996 means 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 6 days a week. My one not lah, but there are a lot out there that are especially Chinese companies. Yeah, so you have to be skilled, You have to be willing to learn very quickly and hard work. You have to be really willing to work hard. So these are three things that you need if you want to join the crypto industry.
Right. So for those who are listening and who are watching and you're thinking of going to the blockchain industry, even though they pay well, if it's like a small startup, right? Number one is because of that, they expect the best, right? Because they can pay well, right? So that's one. If you can't do well in creating a blockchain application or your portfolio doesn't showcase something that's amazing, then probably you won't get hired. So second thing is willingness to learn. I think that is very consistent to any tech that you are in, right? You have to learn because tech just moves on a lot faster. I forgot what's the third one. What was the third one? I forgot.
Hardworking, because sometimes
Hardworking,
some
yes.
of the uh, some of the companies demand a lot of working hours.
Yeah. So being in the blockchain or crypto space, right? They expect a lot of things from you because I assume you're being paid a lot. And at the same time, expect to work a lot, meaning after hours as well, or like you said, 996. So 996 is a phenomenon in China where a lot of the companies or tech companies work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So that's 12 hours and then 6 days a week, right? So these are the things that you may kind of expect when you are working in the crypto space as well. So maybe in your opinion, right? What do you think will be a very impressive project that if I were to showcase to you, you'll be quite impressed? If I want to be working in a crypto or blockchain company.
Um, I cannot exactly. There are possibly a lot of interesting projects possible. Um, I mean, algo trading is something that's very popular. I realized, but it's something that I didn't know was called algo trading. But yeah, I built an algo trading system on my own, and that I think caught the attention of some of my superiors. Yeah, algo trading with neural network and stuff like that. So that was cool. But still, there are a lot of applications out there in terms of decentralized applications that people are trying out and stuff like that. Yeah, with that said, you can build your own exchange. You can build your own um, what?
Games.
Yeah, games. Yeah, there are a lot of in the crypto space lah. There are a lot of applications for crypto itself as well as blockchain, the technology. So yeah, all these are quite interesting projects, but obviously there are a lot of like starter projects out there. But what you might want to do is do more lah, right? I mean, more than that. And if it the the bigger you think in terms of application, then the more attractive it will be lah. But that is the crypto projects. Still, the fundamentals of your front end, back end, all these, if you can showcase them through good projects, those will catch attention as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I guess like the project that you personally have done is I would say like a
Algo
trading application. Yeah. So it's algo trading means algorithm trading, meaning you
yeah,
use
algorithmic
algorithms.
trading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
algorithms, and it can be from a neural network. So for those who don't know what's neural network, wow, I mean GPT is already here, so you should Google or ask ChatGPT what neural network is. But let me explain what neural network is. Is basically, you can think of it is where you input something and then it will output accurately what that something is, right? So imagine if you were to show an image and then it will output, oh, this image is a person's face, and then it's if it's a person based, then it's accurate. So a neural network, in a sense, is something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gabriel. Yeah. So,
Yes, lah,
but
but accurately, not every neural network will be able to accurately do something, but it has to be
yeah,
trained. That is the
yeah,
developer's job.
yeah.
Yeah.
Correct, correct. So you need to, the neural network is not like magic, right? Automatically 100% accurate. So you need to keep on feeding data to make it more accurate, or you need to, tweak a bit, like to make it accurate as well, right? So there's a lot more in terms of like neural network stuff, but that's how roughly it's basically a way for you to accurately guess something whether you add in more data or whether you tweak how it works, right? So that's neural network. And yes, I do agree that if you want to showcase a project, it needs to be impressive. Now there's so much resources out there. ChatGPT is already making it easier for people to do stuff as well. And for those who don't know what's front end is like your, you know, your website. Your back end is like the software that controls the database and connects to your website, your interface. Okay. So talking about ChatGPT, because it's still the current thing, what are your thoughts of using ChatGPT uh maybe as a person who learns and who wants to be a software developer? What is your opinion about it?
I'm not sure if my opinion actually stands because first thing I have never used ChatGPT before,
Oh,
but yeah, in terms of the technology behind it, GPT-3, it has been the forefront of this field in deep learning called NLP, natural language processing. GPT-3 has been a thing built by Google for a long time already. So Google has, I mean, they don't release the source code for GPT-3 and GPT-4, and I don't know what other GPT they have. I believe GPT-4 recently they had some news on it, but yeah,
GPT-3 is by OpenAI. It's a startup.
yeah,
Yeah,
correct. I
yeah,
mean, I
not
think
Google.
Google didn't buy over them or something.
No, didn't. It was actually Microsoft who funded them more last year. So OpenAI. So a little bit of context is that GPT-3 or the basically OpenAI is a company that is an AI company that creates you know, neural networks for NLP, which is neural link processing. Sorry, natural language processing, correct? Right. So what it does is that if you ask a question, it can accurately answer you back, right? And then the story is that once OpenAI released the Chat GPT product, then Microsoft caught the attention of the GPT, and then they invested, I think, $1 billion for 49% stake of the company. Yeah. So yeah. Uh,
Yeah, but okay. So my point is that this technology has been there for a while already. But I mean, ChatGPT was something that they build a use case for the GPT-3 engine itself lah. So it's just one of the use case, but still, um, I would think that it's not. I haven't used it, but I have. I mean, obviously you hear a lot of things, kind of thing, but yeah, it's not magic lah. That's that lah. So you ask him to write the code that I need to write, then obviously cannot lah. But um, yeah, yeah lor. To me, I'm not sure what's the need for it lah. I don't see a point where there's need for it. Um, yeah, but it's cool to have, cool to play around. But yeah, natural language processing, the technology behind it, or the technology behind ChatGPT, no, yeah, the technology behind ChatGPT, which is GPT-3, the engine has quite a bit of applications in terms of what can it be used for. For example, um, imagine if someone can build an AI using a very good NLP model, possibly ChatGPT 3, but maybe not lah, that can help you answer phone calls and speak exactly like human, like your own personal assistant. Yeah, I think Google has that sometime few years back, but they haven't released it or maybe they are facing issues. But yeah, I think it's a cool product to have lah. Maybe we'll achieve that one day. Nothing, who knows? So
right.
NLP has a lot of possibilities lah.
Yeah, I do get that with this, you know, product, it makes life a little bit easier, or I would say it makes life a lot more easier. And have you tried GitHub Copilot before?
No, what's that?
Oh, okay. So GitHub Copilot is basically uh, autocomplete for your code, but better. Meaning that imagine you type a comment saying, "Can you create?" or you say, "Create a Twitter." What do you call that? Can you help me grab the latest tweets from this user? So it will generate the whole code for you. Yeah. So that's GitHub Copilot. Yeah. So with that product, I think I've used it before, and it's actually pretty good. And I'm surprised that you have not heard of it, but which is fine. I think you're you're still valuable in the company because you still put in the work as well, right? But for those people who are interested, you can Google it, and yeah, it is a very powerful autocomplete. And now they have the next version. It's called GitHub Copilot X, where it uses ChatGPT to answer questions of your code base. So for those who don't know what is a code base, is basically a bunch of files and folders for project. And imagine if you want to understand one code base, it's going to take a lot of time. My chat GPT can help you understand it, right? Yeah, but getting to the point of learning, right? I think, Gabriel, you also had your fair share of teaching and also helping people to teach code. What do you think is one tip for people that will help them land software developer jobs?
Projects for sure. So I mean, um, yeah, as much as for students that or people who just came into coding, right? Like whatever you guys learn, so in terms of maybe Python or JavaScript, the things that you go through in terms of some of the maybe online course or certain schools, they'll teach you what maybe simple things like print, maybe simple things like arithmetics or your conditional operators, this kind of thing, or loops. It might seem very trivial, might seem, hey, I got something to print hello world kind of thing. It, it feels always, it always feels like you can't really do anything with it, but actually those are all the fundamentals you need to build a lot of things. So that is when, yeah, you can start with to do good projects. You might need to actually think of an idea what you want to do. I mean, design thinking is a very popular framework now about what you want to build, but I mean, it's obviously not as easy. If not, we have a lot of people building a lot of fancy things. It does happen, but yeah, Singaporeans think about what your design thinking. You think about what problems you have in your life, then suddenly cannot think of any problem. I mean, we are reasonably comfortable, but still projects ideas are out there. You have to really think hard enough what you want to build, and yeah, you can actually build things with all these fundamentals that you learn in your courses or whatsoever, and those things, those projects, are the ones that will catch attention from people who wanna people your hirers lah, right, or your recruiters or whatnot. So projects are really important. Mm.
Right. Yeah, I do agree that projects actually helps you to stand out in a bunch of people who are trying to apply, right? So, and projects help you apply what you learn, right? Because, like you said, when you learn in school or tutorials, they just ask you to print. So, for those who don't know what print is, we don't use the printer, all right? We actually have this line of code where we help you show the value of a certain type of data. Okay, so that's what print is. So, and then what do you think will be like? Maybe it's similar to the blockchain question, but outside of the blockchain industry, right? What do you think someone can start with? What kind of project do you think someone can start with? Because you say solve a problem, but maybe Singaporeans not have a lot of problems. So, what is like a way to have like one idea or one way to just get an idea and get it done? What do you think can help in that process?
I mean, this has always been uh, an issue for engineers lah, especially want to build things, and then the first step to build things is actually go through the ideation phase. Then you realize what how to generate ideas. So um, it is not an easy question lah. But yeah, design thinking is just one of the frameworks. You look around your problems, other people's problems, and then try to solve them. So that's just framework, a very popular framework nowadays. In terms of, I don't know why I call it framework lah, but quite common sense lah. Think of a problem and try to solve it, and then yeah. But otherwise, um, I don't know. Work with more people. Talk to more people. You will be surprised to know what kind of you'll be surprised to realize that there are a lot of people out there, whether people, organizations, companies, industries, or whatever, um, they are facing an issue that we engineers can actually solve. Yeah. So
Yeah,
talk to people, I guess. Mm. Or
right.
like just
Yeah. So I get that maybe when you think of a problem, it might be your own problem. But if you think of other people's problem, then you realize, hey, there is a pattern, right? Many people have the same problem. If you talk to
Mm,
companies, hey, there's same problem with other companies as well, right? So I guess it is also a good way to build up relationship with other people who have the same problem, and then you're like, okay, now I have an idea of how to solve a problem, that kind of thing, right? So yeah, I think talking to people actually helps. All right, so maybe to end off this podcast or live stream or video, what is like one tip for people who want to land jobs in software developer?
mm, I would think that it will always be to focus on the skills lah. I mean, yeah lah. I mean, if you are looking to whether you go through school or whatnot, if you learn yourself, like if you go through schools, there are a lot of distractions like grades, all this, to distract you away from the actual skill itself lah. And yeah, even if you were to, and also like yeah, a lot of people are sort of like distracted by yeah the monetary incentive that the industry can give you. But all this, to be honest, uh, are distractions lah. So the skills itself is what you actually should be looking for. The skills and the knowledge in terms of building, coding, good code, bad code, all this. Yeah, learn how to code well, learn how to understand a computer. It's just an electrical system. This kind of thing. All this information will help you in terms of being wanted lah, being wanted as a team member to actually build a product, and which is of course being hired lah, right? So yeah, the knowledge would be the most valuable thing to have, and yeah, my tip is just focus on knowledge lah. Don't be distracted by anything else. But um, yeah, projects as well. With the projects, you or sorry, rather with the knowledge that you have are acquiring, you would be able to think of some projects. I maybe can build something like this. Maybe we can build something like that. Then that's where with these projects, you might have form your own team to build a project. Other teams might look at you. Hey, wow, this guy has this project, pretty impressive. I want him on my team. This is the then that could be a hiring lah, right? So yeah, projects comes along with knowledge, but knowledge comes first. Mm.
Yeah. So yes, I do agree that projects really helps to, I would say make your knowledge and information and skills to be implemented and showcased, right? Because if you have the skills, I mean, you can showcase it in a tech interview. I guess with a project, yeah, that's where I guess it captures a lot more attention, right? To recruiters or employers or companies, right? Yes, and I do agree that skills is the defining part of whether you can get a job or whether you are in software engineer, right? Because that's where people will actually see your skills. So like how a computer works or how you going to build a project or even solve a problem with code as well. That's the skill set that you have to hone in, because that's actually honestly what developers do: solve problems. Give me a problem, I try to solve it with code. That's about it, right? All right, so thank you so much, Gabriel, for this podcast. I think people who are listening or watching, they have a sense of like how they can improve, especially you have industry experience being in the crypto space, right? What actually works and what to expect. I mean, the 996 thing, I didn't really expect it, but now you said it, like maybe I don't want to join already lah. So I mean, all join the correct company in a sense. All right, so thank you so much, Gabriel, and thank you everyone who's watching and listening. Hopefully this advice will inspire you to become software developers or upskill in a skill. So I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. All right. Let me